Good morning, friends. I was out of town for a couple days and left Hubs in charge of everything gardening, and didn't have to worry too much about having him water because we got rain the whole time. But I got some good news and some bad news. So I like to start with good news. Look at all the jalapenos. See them all back there? So I'm super stoked about that. We got a few Romas on that one plant that are getting red. More little jalapenos over there. Hang on here. And look at these bell peppers. They are just kicking it. Look at all of them. That's Caesar. He says good morning. Let's see. I'm trying to get you in there so you can see all these peppers that are coming on. So that's super exciting. But here's something that's not exciting. Look who came to visit my caprese tomatoes. So it looks like it's just the one plant that's affected. So I got to get in here and start dragging all those leaves off. The capreses have so much flavor. That's one of the things I love about heirlooms, is they just, to me, seem like they have a lot more flavor. And these aren't caprese, Genovese tomatoes. My mistake. And these plants, there's 4 of them in here, are just covered with tomatoes. And those are the best for making caprese salad. Thus the faux pas in me calling them caprese tomatoes, because that's what I use them for. And I gotta tell you, I think these new provider beans are gonna be our favorite. I think they're gonna replace our old homestead beans, because, let's see if we can get you a good shot here. Look at all the beans we already have. Can you see them in there? There's some right there. Yeah, it's pretty amazing. And it looks like, I'll have to get in here after I'm done shooting, but it looks like somebody's going to get to can beans this weekend. And this calendula just does not disappoint. I love it. Look, these little weeds try to hide in here, but I know you're there, buddy, and I'll be back for you. And these are, I think these are the meteor zinnias. And for a point of reference, I have big manly hands. Look how big those things are. And these are the whirligig zinnias. Love them too. I can't imagine a world without flowers. Flowers for me just add that pop to your garden. And it makes it so beautiful. But the rain has done a number. I got to get in here and do some serious weeding. Both in between the beds and in the beds, it's gotten a little crazy out here. We did end up losing the melons, which we thought we would. Pretty sure it was squash vine borers. So we are going to find out if the companion planting manual is correct, in that if you plant nasturtiums, and looks like that plant's got a little bit of problems too, so we'll have to get in there and take care of him. That if you plant nasturtiums in with your squash, it deters squash bugs. So far, it looks like it's working. Although it looks like these guys have gotten a little bit too much rain, but they were kind of struggling, so we'll see if we can get any nasturtiums out of there. Okay, so remember how I told you I was just joking around and started watering. Hubs and I are jokesters. I started watering some of the volunteers that were coming up in between beds. This is actually in between these 2 beds. I've got my zinnias. I've got my cosmos. Hubs just shakes his head and walks away. I don't blame him. So what looks like a hot mess to you is actually the Champagne Bubbles tomatoes. I got in and I was going to try to tie some of them up to the cattle panel here, and they were just too wild. And this was before they were even this big. But we are going to have a ton of Champagne Bubbles tomatoes. They're everywhere. Look at that big cluster of them there. For the most part, everything's doing pretty well. I am a little disappointed, I'm not gonna lie, about the state of things out here. We're having a birthday party for yours truly Sunday, and every gardener wants their garden to look amazing, and mine's not going to, and that's okay. There's more of those little Champagne Bubbles. And look at this cosmos. Crazy. So those potatoes over there are about ready to go. Let's look over here and see if we can see my weeping willow tree. I don't see it. I hope he didn't hit it with the mower yesterday. If he did, folks, I'll probably cry. I have an affinity for weeping willow trees. Where my real dad is buried, there is oh my gosh, look at those grapes. Out of control. But I will tell you, I'll get back to my story in a second. I will tell you, the milky spore that we put in the ground has helped. We've had some Japanese beetle damage, but knock on wood, not anything like we had last year. I mean, I think they're pretty well done. So, I mean, you can see there's a few gold leaves out there, but we're tickled. Now, we do have a little bit of issue with some of the grapes turning brown and coming off, and that's a fungus, and you're supposed to just pull off the affected bunches, but it's very limited. So we're excited about that. So back to my story about the weeping willow. So where my real dad's buried in the southern part of the state, my mom owns about 70 acres. And there is where the home place used to be, and I do have a memory of being in that house with my parents one time. So there's this big, there's the flat spot where the house was, and to the right of it is this big, huge weeping willow tree. And I used to have so much fun playing in that when I was younger. And then when I would take my kids camping, they would play in it too. There was also probably the biggest cedar tree you've ever seen in your life that the kids all used to climb. And we used to take a lot of friends and family down there. And we used to camp a lot down there when the kids were little. I mean, a lot. And we have pictures. I think there's one picture we have that there are, I think, 9 kids in this tree, and none of them were touching. They were going all the way up the bark. That's how tall it was. Oh, good. He staked it so he would miss it. There it is. So for a while, it was illegal in our state to transplant a weeping willow tree, and I guess now it's okay. But just see how everything has just greened up. So my mom allowed on this property a logger to come and clear off part of the hill. I cried. There's so many memories down there, and I'm pretty sure he probably got that cedar tree, but they tore it up so bad that at the time I couldn't hike up it to check on my little tree. And I'm worried about my willow tree. So Hubs bought me this one, which I thought was really sweet. So there's that. I couldn't be angry at my mom. In years past, I might have gotten super angry and chewed her out. But here's the thing, folks. It's her land. She can do with it what she wants. Where my brother and I both, putting it nicely, extremely disappointed. Oh yeah. There's the corn. See, this is just as much fun for me as it is for you because this is the first time I've been out here all week. Look, we're tasseling. And we got little ears of corn. And this is the best corn. In the storms. So I showed you, we hill this. I don't know if you can tell very well before we plant. I always have, I always will, because we've had some pretty rough storms go through here and my corn is still standing. Ordinarily I would have gotten in here again and hilled it some more, but this has just been a weird year all the way around. So we'll just take it and just roll with it. All right, I'm a geek, but this is something I find absolutely fascinating. The way it all works. Ooh. Oh, looky, we have a friend. Actually, we have a foe. See him there? It's not going to focus on him. So we have good news and bad news from the garden. We lost our melons. Got a little bit of blight, got a little bit of a fungus issue. But if that's all that happens, we're doing okay. It's never going to be perfect. I don't expect it to be perfect, and you shouldn't expect it to be perfect either. We all just do what we can do, accept the blessings that God gives us, and we just learn from it and try harder next year. Look at these peaches. They're little bullets this year, and this is the first year, and there's so many on this limb that's actually weighing this limb down. Hubs wouldn't let me pick any of them, so what I'll probably do is come out here and put up one of my metal fence posts and kind of see how we've got that one there. We put those around to keep because we had mesh around the outside of them to keep the deer out. But I think now I'm going to have to maybe try to tie some of these limbs up with, even if I just use cable ties for a little bit. So we're going to be pickling beets without a full kitchen, and I'll do a video on that and tell you all the rest of my woes. Yeah, like I said, it is what it is. I love what it's gonna be. It's not anything yet. Ooh, it looks like the pumpkins that my granddaughter, ooh, we've lost a few more of them here. My granddaughter planted some pumpkins. We need to get in and see if we've got borers in here, if this is just cucumber beetles issues, or if we've got squash bugs. Do you see any little eggs? Let's look. Oh, here we go. So there's what your eggs look like. That's what your eggs used to look like, friends. Now I got to get in and check all these because my grandkids need pumpkins, and they're not going to have pumpkins. Last year I did this every single day just to make sure. We do have 2 good plants, 3, but with the way those are looking, I say we have squash vine borers. Well, you know what I gotta do. Oop, there's a cucumber beetle. Goodbye, friend. Yeah, we have a lot of cucumber beetles out here. Not cool at all. I have to add this to my daily checks again. Oh yeah. Friends, I've got to go. Look at this. I got eggs everywhere on this plant. So until next time, which will be a preview of the kitchen. Be blessed and be a blessing.